So today we're talking about steel case 9mm ammo. What you saw earlier was actually me just racking off 17 rounds of reloaded 9mm steel casings. As you could see, come on, focus, there we go. Fired out on my Glock 17 Gen 4. And I was using 124 grain plated bullets. Rainer is the manufacturer. Let's see, there we go. Or actually Barry's bullets. And of course I'm using accurate number 2, 4 grains, 4.0 grains. And since I'm out of small pistol primers and they're kind of hard to come by, and I have a few small rifle primers, I decided to use them. I know some of you guys are like, cancel this guy, he's unsafe with his primers. But hey, in this channel we experiment, and I have tried rifle primers in pistol calibers before, and out of a pistol they seem to be all right. The only issue that I ran into is if you have an aftermarket like Ghost Trigger, 3.5 pound Ghost Trigger or something, it might be a little bit tougher for your firing pin to actually ignite, strike them and have proper ignition. But as you could tell, this Glock of mine is actually all stock, so it had no issues at all. So we're gonna try to reload them probably 4 or 5 times and see if they're a viable option. So the trick to reloading steel cases is there's usually 2 types of primers or priming. You could see here on the left is the single flash hole, which is the boxer primer or boxer prime. That is the only one you could actually or that I reload. 2 little flash holes on the side. Yeah, I don't really know how to, or have a way that's convenient for me to deprime this. And so for easy sake, make sure that it's not Brennan primed, because for me this is actually junk, but the rest of these are boxer prime. I'm probably gonna load 5 of them up, and because this is all the 9mm bullet heads I have left, so I counted probably about 35 of them, so I'm gonna load 5 of them up. The idea is to shoot them, re-measure them. I have the 49th edition of Lyman's Reloading Handbook, and if we turn to the 9mm Luger page, you can see the overall length should be 1 inch .169, and the case itself should be 0.754 inches. All right, so it's 0.741. That is within spec. .737. It's 2 so far. 0.739. And 0.744. And last one, last but not least, 746. All right, we're gonna put the rest aside. We're gonna use these ones. Mind you, this is a carbide die. Carbide die, so I actually don't have to use any lube, which is perfect. It's really meant for brass, but so far it's been working on the limited amount of steel casings that I actually have put through it. I put 21 so far, and these 5 would be 26 steel casings through it. Alright, got 5 of them loaded up. Let's go shoot them. Alright, so that was the second time that I shot these. Just a heads up, I'm not cleaning them in between, throwing them in the sonic tumbler or the steel pin tumbler, because just to save on time. So they are not cleaned, and I'm just gonna load them straight up. But let's get the measurement on this again. 743. 745. 743. 740. And 744. So they're all still within specs. Probably lengthened just a little bit on a couple of them, but still within specs. And I know you guys might want to see how they chronograph versus brass, but I currently do not have a chronograph, so until I do, this is the best I can do. And last one. I have not trimmed any of these casings, so I do not have any procedure I do have to how to trim this. If I could use my brass trimmer the same, or if I needed something special like a Germo or something. But let's go shoot them. This will be the third reload, but the fourth time these steel casings has been shot. And what I did notice when I was picking them up, the 5-up, is there's one of them that actually has a split in the casing, as you can see. So yeah, that one is done. I'm not going to reload this anymore. It goes in the trash pile. And there is 4 left. So again, I'm going to reiterate that these are actually not my brass. It was actually some range brass that a friend gave me. So factory loaded. That was the first shot. The way you saw me at the intro of the video with the 17 rounds, that was the second time they've been fired. The third time, and then the fourth time would be this past one that you actually saw me shoot. So it lasted, that one casing lasted four loadings. But you know, shit hits the fan scenario or whatever. Hey, now you know you could get at least 3 firings from these. Oh, gotta size them up. .740, 745, 744, 738. Pockets are still holding the primers pretty well. So far we don't have any issues with the primer pocket expanding. All right, so I got 4 of these, the remaining ones loaded up. That would be the 5th firing, but the 4th reload of mine. Let's go check it out. I checked the casings, they're all good. There's no more splits or cracks in these casings. The primers still look good. Honestly, I expected that they would kind of all fail within the third reloading, just like the one that I actually trashed. And so I'm actually out of CCI primers. There's 3 left in here, but I do have Winchester Small Rifle Primers. So I know it's kind of not scientific at this point because I'm mixing primers and whatnot, but you know, if you're reloading steel casings anyways, you know, figured primers shouldn't really matter. Plus it's pistol, it's not really a rifle. So I just threw in 10 of them plus 3, so we got 13. We'll see if they'll last a few more reloadings. Let's measure them again. .741, 738, 744, 741. Kind of showed on one there, but it's all right. It's close enough. It's not as precise or requires precision as if you're reloading for long range rifle cartridges. So, but again, I'm using 124 grains berry bullets, copper plated lead, with 4.0 grains of accurate number 2. It has the flash suppressant in the gunpowder, so it's more for like shorter barrels that helps you when you conceal carry and you shoot at low lighting that doesn't really give off that flash and blind you temporarily. I do apologize for the wind when I'm filming outside because it's been quite windy the past 3 days, and apologize for the chair I'm sitting in that's making all that squeaking noise. All right, let's go shoot them and see. If I were to fire, all right, these are meant for 5.56 casings or primers, so might have a harder primer than I thought it would be. Three went off. It's kind of bad, but figured I toss this one in there, double tap it, hopefully it goes off with all the good CCI primers I'm out of. Bad flinch, and it didn't go off again. Right. Try the restrike. Nope. Alright, so in that last firing you could see that one of them didn't go off, and it is, as I suspected, the Winchester Small Rifle Primer, which actually stated for 5.56. So the firing pin actually hits harder in an AR-15 or bolt action in a rifle platform than compared to a pistol, so there's no surprise there. So, well, you get a 2 for 1, because now you know in a pinch you could actually use CCI Small Rifle Primers for your pistols, just in case you need to. And see, as you can tell, CCI, they all went off, and the yellow one, this one that didn't go off, was that Winchester primer. Unfortunately, I'm all out of the small rifle primers from CCI, so all I have is these and or some small primers that I loaded up with that priming compound, which I mixed together probably about close to a year ago. It's just kind of been laying here in my dip can in my basement, so we'll see how those do. And I'm still gonna use this brass, and I'm just gonna take out all the components with the kinetic bullet puller, and you could actually check my other video to see how I'm gonna take it out. All right, so I got the bullet and the powder out from this one. So this one's one firing behind these guys, but you know, just for shits and giggles, I'm able to reuse that powder and that bullet. Just gonna throw it back in the powder measurer. All right, so we could continue with our test. Let's get that measurement. 744. 738. 739. 741. So we tried the CCI primers, just to recap. Small pistol or rifle primers, those works as a substitute. The small Winchester rifle primers did not work. And we are going to the PrimeAll do-it-yourself compound mixture for small pistol and primer or rifle primers, and hopefully these works so we could continue our testing. But then again, I made them and I left them out. As you can see, it's been struck before, and I just kind of flattened it out again with a small punch. So, gotta crimp that down. There we go. Gotta use the bullet puller too, so that's why it's important to actually have a lot of stuff in your, if you do get into reloading, in your arsenal, so you could actually take care of business when you need to take care of business, even if you're out of primers. If you have a mixture of that PrimeAll, you could make your own primers if you do load some bullets and they don't fire for one reason or another, if you have a bullet puller, you could pull it out. That one seems to have not seated too well. I know it's dangerous, you shouldn't reseat it when the powder is in, but it's flush now. But you know, I make the mistakes so you guys don't have to. We will also test if moisture got into the priming compound here. And if you do load some primers and just leave them around for about a year in the open air in your basement, how much the humidity affects it. All right, as you can tell, they're all reprimed primers. Let's see what they'll do. Oh, dropped the camera on the first time on that one, but they fired fine. Two, three, one more. There we go, 4. And those were with the reprime primers that I had reprimed for about a year. Wow, this thing's just eating up. Well, those reprime primers definitely went off. All 4 of them. So I got 4 more of my reprimed primers, and if you are wondering what I mean by reprime primers, click on my channel, whatever, check out my older video. It's probably about a year old now, and that would tell you what I mean by repriming my own primers. All right. The only downside of repriming your primers is sometimes when I try to flatten out the primer again, it kind of make it a little bit bigger, and so it's a little bit more force is needed to seat the primer. But as you can tell, all 4 of them went off, and if all 4 of these go off, I will be pleasantly surprised. I know I sound like a broken record, but I loaded them, left them downstairs in my basement in this open dip can, and they all shot. So that is pretty good for a priming compound, I'd say. Although I didn't say it in the original video that I talked about it and actually showed you guys how to reprime those used primers. It is super corrosive. Treat it like black powder. So if you do end up getting that priming compound, somehow get your hands on it, as you could tell, we'll see, looks almost like black gunpowder, and it's as corrosive. So if you do use it, I suggest you, or actually it's a must that you should clean your weapon immediately after you fire it, and like after the range day. Because if you don't, and it's a weapon that you like and you want it to not be rusty, it will corrode your barrel, your slide, whatever comes in contact with the gases that the primer compound touches. But you know, it's a Glock, feeds on damn well almost anything, and I use a Glock because I know it'll feed most things. And it's easy to break apart, field strip, clean. So this is, I would say, legitly. Another thing is when you're down to 2 primers, these Lee, I haven't tried the other types of primer feeding trays. They tend not to feed the last 2. Sometimes you'll get lucky and be able to feed the second to the last one, but for me, I just usually take them out and then feed them individually. There we go. So this is actually has become a shit hit the fan scenario in which there's no more brass. All you could find is just steel casings because it's laying around, and because nobody thinks that they could reload it. And then you have some priming compound that you actually carry around, and it's safe when they're not mixed together. It's not gonna blow up like let's say you're carrying around some ready-made primers or something. And then, you know, they could get impacted, get hammered on, dropped, whatever, set them off. That priming compound will not go off unless you mix them in a certain ratio. So something to think about. Steel casings, reprimed primers. Heck, I'm pretty sure black powder, if you actually are licensed to make your own or find some black powder, you could use it instead of this accurate number 2 that I'm using, and that would be even more post-apocalyptic style of making your own bullets in survival. Alrighty. See that a little bit more deeper. There we go. Awesome. Now it's flushed. Thought this was going to be a quick and easy video. So with my CCI primers, steel casings were gonna, fail after the second or third reloading. But no, these steel casings just keep on trucking. Except for that one that split. These 4 are good, as you could see. Reprimed primers. I don't have any reprimed primers, and it's kind of a pain, I do admit, to try to mix up a batch. So this will probably be the last firing. Right, that first one didn't go off. And that was the final firing because I haven't loaded up any more primers. 3 of the 4 actually went off, which is awesome. I probably botched up this. You could tell it's been struck, botched up the repriming of this, or the remanufacture of this primer. It's either that or left it out too long in open air and it just degraded. But hey, 7 out of 8 worked, so I'll just chalk this up to me not putting the anvil on correctly, or probably not seating this too flush. We could focus here, kind of see. So it's probably just a reloading error. But as you can see, there's the integrity of these steel casings, minus the one that kind of failed, could actually be reloaded. 738, still within specs, still be reloaded and used more than you were ever told that they can. So that's pretty amazing. 740, and this last one I'll just pull out and dispose of the primer, but use that kinetic bullet puller again. But yeah, that concludes the very limited sample of testing on these shell casings, or steel casings. Plus, you guys got a bonus of seeing CCI Small Rifle Primers work in a 9mm, plus Winchester Small Rifle 5.56 primers, that the one that didn't work, and also the reprimed primers. So